I think the biggest thing you've said there, though, without saying it, is it's never too late to take the right risk. Why do we need to work? Why do we work so hard? Why should we work harder? Is it all just a waste of time? Are we just pretending to have purpose when we nothing we do really matters? This goes through my mind. I've thought about like the way we've evolved. Like as humans, we have been under plenty of stress in the past, running away from predators and so on.
Sure.
You know, things that, but have we evolved? Have our lifestyles changed so much, but our bodies haven't evolved enough to take it to where we are? So I came across this, right? And it goes something like this. I don't know what I'm singing. But how's life going, Sam?
I did my back in. I did my back in.
It's either you or me, but it's been you this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need like a cushion. Because we were talking about this. This posture is not flattering.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah,
I'll get over
I
it.
think you're overthinking it, man.
Yeah.
It's because you made it to the big leagues now. You're edging into every little thing.
What big
When in
leagues?
fact people want you for you.
Oh, I
You're
see.
an influencer now.
Am I?
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm interviewing an influencer.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nah, you're right here
You're
with
a
me.
Threads influencer. I'm a Threads influencer. Anyone can
Are
be
you a Threads influencer?
Anyone can be. You just got to
Yeah.
post.
I think Instagram changed its settings where like new people have to add all of their followers or something.
On Threads?
Yeah, because every now and again, I'll just get like 5 notifications from Threads of X plus 10 other people have started following you. You're like,
Whereas when I did it, yeah, it could just stay low key.
yeah, when I first set one up, I didn't get anything. But yeah, I'm going to delete it,
Yeah,
dude.
but
I don't
want,
care.
People that I have on Instagram from uni, like, see my Threads.
Yeah.
Why would you want to post on Instagram anyway? Like, you can get censored for anything.
Yeah.
You can just say, like, water's dry and you'll get censored.
Is water wet though?
Who knows?
Who
But
knows?
the fact is, I want to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
you don't.
And I
How
can't.
dare you have an opinion?
So that always takes me to x.com.
Yeah.
Big fan of the x.com.
Yeah.
Great videos on x.com. Great areas. But yeah, it's genuinely, Elon has engaged in changing and rebranding Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the hot news of the week.
What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? I think regardless of what my thoughts are, he'll win.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, even if he doesn't, he'll figure out a way to like rescue it, turn it into something. He has the capital, he has the ambition, and he has the loyalty of people to make it work. And the fact of the matter is, what other options do we have? We have Chinese TikTok.
Yeah.
And we have Zuck, Facebook and Meta.
Yeah. Threads.
Yeah, really, it's either that or it's this free speech on x.com, whatever that is. So I think he's in an interesting space, and I'm just here to watch on the sidelines, see how it goes.
All right.
Yeah, how about you?
I've never really cared for short form microblogging.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
I love when things like this happen though, because you see it on LinkedIn, right? Everybody becomes an expert social media analyst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got to have a 2-page hot take on this.
Yeah.
And I don't even care about the articles. I love the headlines.
Yeah.
Here's why Elon Musk's move to, these are 2 headlines I've read in the span of 1 week. Here are 8 reasons why Elon's move to x.com is a bad move.
Okay.
Here's why Elon's move to X is technically brilliant. 2 headlines I've read within the span of a week on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's written by the same person.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
So I'll fight this side.
Satisfy both sides.
Yeah, so I'll fight this side. Oh, I didn't get the engagement or the views that I wanted. I'll fight that side.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Honestly, I can't wait. But I mean, it was like two or 3 weeks ago, Twitter was at its all-time low in terms of content, and the most interesting thing on there was about Zuck and Elon having a fight or something.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a really bad time, because firstly, it was never going to happen, and B, that's not really a fight.
You don't think so? In this day and age,
anything
is
can
possible,
happen.
dude, yeah.
That's right. But the most interesting thing, and I'm going to get this wrong,
Yep.
is a new discovery was made
What's that?
on superconductors.
Okay.
Most specifically, LK99 superconductor, a breakthrough apparently in superconductors. But essentially, the fact of the matter is they've been able to create a superconductor that can be stable in room temperature.
What is a superconductor?
So this is where I'm definitely out of my element.
Because I thought that was a dumb question.
But I have got superconductivity is a set of physical properties observed in certain materials where electrical resistance vanishes and magnetic flux fields are expelled from the material.
Cool.
What does that mean? Essentially, I've seen all sorts on Instagram and Twitter where people are talking about levitating objects and so on. There's a lot of cool things that could be done. This could change.
So it doesn't have to be solid?
It could change engineering. Please don't ask me too many specific questions. I don't want to answer the wrong thing.
Fair enough.
I've tried to follow a bit about this on Twitter.
Yeah.
I know the person who made the discovery posted the paper on Twitter or x.com and then just did a GIF of mic drop. And that was the coolest way. It's got millions and millions of views and a lot of likes. But essentially, it was just the best way to drop the biggest scientific discovery of the year if it does crack out to be what it is. I think a load of people in China and so on are trying to replicate it. If they replicate it well, then it's going to be really game changing. So yeah, keep your eye out. But yeah, it's room temperature semiconductors, which is just like superconductors, which is incredible.
All right.
And yeah, I will.
Keep me
read up more.
Yeah, keep me posted.
Because a lot of research, I'm going to be open. I do not understand this.
I thought a superconductor was something you find in like a Tesla.
So that's a semiconductor.
Oh.
This is a superconductor. I think some like Avatar style.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, things. I don't know.
I genuinely thought we'd have more floaty shit by now.
Yeah. So it's coming.
Yeah.
If this is true and someone's not having us all on.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
So we can actually hover. Let's get some hoverboards in.
Yeah.
Listen, let's dive straight in.
Yep.
You had something beautiful to read to us. Did you? Oh, hold on. Hold on. The phone.
Yeah.
Hold the hell on.
Uh-huh.
Are you going to read that thing that you mentioned to me the other day?
I am.
Okay. I just want you to know what a consistent guy you are.
Okay.
Yeah? I respect this. You're a consistent guy.
Thanks.
The reason why I say this is I've just finished editing the Adulting episode. And you say something remarkably similar to that.
Okay.
So please proceed and I'll explain what you said.
Okay, good. Because consistent could have gone either one way or another. So I'm hoping that's...
No, you're consistently positive, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good.
Keep the good vibes afloat.
So essentially, it was quite an interesting thing because I came across this tweet.
Yeah.
And you always see... you see something when you're thinking about it, right? Like you notice a thing in the world. There's a phrase for this, and I will get this in a moment, but you start to notice things more.
Confirmation bias.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love it when you're here because you're just like that. Instant. Yeah, you just, you back me up with the exact term. So we're talking about yellow cars, and then I bet you'll see a yellow car on the way home or something similar to yellow, right? It's just, you'll flag it up in your mind. So confirmation bias, that's what it is. So I get that a lot, certainly in Twitter, because there's so much content out there, but something spikes out. And I don't know, the algorithm also figures it out, just like it does everywhere. So something that I've been going through, just giving a little bit of context, is the idea of like, why do we need to work? Why do we work so hard? Why should we work harder? Is it all just a waste of time? Are we just pretending to have purpose when we nothing we do really matters? Are we working harder than we should be doing? As humans, should we just be enjoying life, doing our day-to-day? Should we really be putting our minds to the test at what we do? Stress, all of that stuff. This goes through my mind. I've thought about like the way we've evolved. Like as humans, we have been under plenty of stress in the past, running away from predators and so on.
Sure.
Things that, but have we evolved? Have our lifestyles changed so much, but our bodies haven't evolved enough to take it to where we are. So these are the thoughts we're going through.
I've been through a similar train of thought.
Yeah. We've had various conversations about this, right? Yeah. So I came across this, right? And it goes something like this from Farzad. Yeah. The reason why humans today have such a tough time feeling happy often and instead flock to devices and distractions is because we don't really have any existential dangers staring us in the face every day. Agreed. Can you imagine back in the day and what life was like? You've just escaped a tiger attack. Your tribe figured out how to kill the tiger and use it for food. And you're incredibly relieved and that danger is gone and that you have food for the foreseeable future. How would you live the next day? My guess is that you'd be really, really happy and really thankful to just be around. Repeat this all the time, every single day until you die. And that's how we essentially used to live. But we don't have that anymore. We don't seek to survive every day anymore. So we seek it out with whatever distraction will help us replicate that exact feeling. And now we have millions upon millions of people in developed nations in particular struggling to figure out how and why we feel the way we feel today. So my opinion, Farzad's opinion, is we haven't taken enough risks to make our survival existential. We haven't triggered our survival mechanisms that make us feel grateful. We should be taking way more risks and we should be testing ourselves way more than we are today. Do you agree?
Okay. Let's unpack that.
Mm-hmm.
When you initially mentioned this to me, here's where I lost a connection. He's saying essentially the gratitude that we might express for daily living might come from the heightened of the stress of the day before. So you wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful to be alive.
Yep.
What's out there for me today?
Yep.
Where does he mentions replicating this feeling in social media or on devices?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that connection come in for you? How do we replicate that feeling?
So I think it all comes down, in my opinion.
Yeah, please give me. I want your insight.
Through the dopamine feeling.
Right.
Of like, why? Oh, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel satisfied.
Okay.
And we always seek it out, but why do we seek it out?
So it's the same feeling, but from a different source.
Yep.
Right? We feel the release of dopamine because we survived the previous day,
Yep.
fought off a lion or whatever. Now it's like scrolling, like, ooh, dopamine.
Exactly. And it's not always a lion, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're not always been fighting lions.
No, but
or
like, you don't know
surviving.
when your next meal is.
Exactly. There could be a war going on,
Yeah.
an issue going on, a family crisis. Things have happened.
Sure.
And I'm not by any means saying that was a great time. We are living in a great time where, in most cases, in developed nations, that the risk of that has reduced dramatically. There are a few things that are scary and triggering, but compared to where we used to be, nothing. But I'm trying to unpack that as, yes, today we're still seeking out that same feeling of gratitude and enjoyment, but we think, or we see dopamine as that, because that's all we have.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel good or relieved or, I feel there. And that's why I'm living. It gets me through the day.
Yeah.
Whereas the dopamine before came from just life and how it was, and it made you grateful to be alive. We don't have that as much anymore.
Yeah.
We get the dopamine, but we don't have the gratitude to be alive.
Yeah, you almost said we didn't put in the work for that dopamine. Yeah. Here's why I think you're a consistent guy. In the in episode 67 of this podcast, you said about adulting, I whinged to you for like 5 minutes about how complex life is. And you just went, yeah, but a simple life is boring. Not a simple life is boring. A complex life is interesting. I think there's
You know what though? I'm not going to take credit for any of that. Like, I've gone through many a thing where I'm just like, I want an easier life.
Sure.
Like, especially after a stressful day at work, a stressful issue outside. I've bumped my car into a bollard. Things that you just wish weren't there.
Yeah.
That are very expensive. That just cause issues in your life that you just didn't wish. Right? We all go through them. Some go through more. Some go through less. But we all go through some level of that. Right. And my dad actually told me, he goes, Ash, this is what, it was in the kind of the crux of COVID, when I was under a lot of stress. We all were, for various reasons, family, friends, work, business. And he just came to me and said, Ash, this is what it's all about. Because he's been, he has his own business and so on. And he's been through, as you know, plenty of challenges that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah,
exactly. And he says, that's what makes it interesting. And I'm not sure, originally I was like, are you just saying that to feel optimistic? But the more storms we go through, the more I feel that, I don't know, that resilience? Survival and that resilience is just a great feeling.
Grit.
Yeah. And I look back and I'm like, yeah, it was painful. Things we've done are painful. Certainly, let's just focus on the business. Stuff has been tough.
For sure.
But I genuinely mean it. Looking back, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yeah. So why does that thing that you read, we'll get into each and, your opinion and my opinion, but why does something like that from what you just read from X resonate then?
Because going back to what I mentioned just before I read that sometimes I question, are we working too hard? And I don't say we, I mean just as a general population. Yeah. Do we work too hard? Do we stress over things that don't matter? Yeah. And so on. Maybe we do.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is we need that purpose and we need to be taking those risks and undergoing that stress because that is what we are designed to do.
Yeah.
living and trying to live this stress-free life of sipping margaritas on the beach 24/7, a week, 2 weeks, fine.
Beautiful.
24/7, 365 days a year, we're not built for that. We are not there. And that's why you see some of the most successful people, and I use billionaires as an example. Doesn't mean success, but obviously they have been successful in their own right in most cases. Yeah. Why are they still going at it? Why are they still working on projects, whether that's philanthropy or whatever it is? They need it. They need that that idea of taking risk or, making change. And this goes into risk a lot. But the idea here is, why am I pushing myself to the limit? And I needed this because I was going through a bit of a kind of like a thing of like, why am I doing it?
Go harder or softer?
Yeah. Why do I even go to the gym?
Yeah.
What's the point in going to the gym? Why do that? Oh, I'll feel good tomorrow, but it's not really going to matter. Nothing's really going to matter in the grand schemes of it. Yeah. But I don't know, it does. It makes you feel better. So yeah, that was my opinion. What do you take from this?
It was a shift in my perspective, because something I've always told you when we have these conversations of, is it too much, or do you ever yearn for a simpler job? Do you ever yearn for that? We have these conversations from time to time. We're human, for God's sake. My opinion was always, but what's the alternative? It was always, look at the other side of the fence and decide if you like it more or less. And typically, my answer was, look on the other side of the fence, and I didn't like that as much as I liked this, right? So it was a lot more of like, look away and do you like that? It wasn't necessarily reflect on this. Do you like this? That is the question. Because you don't have to go that way.
Right.
And yeah, and you said that to me during a still chaotic time, but a quieter time in the business. I would say the first half of this year has just been manic, just running at full speed all year round. And you asked me that during a slightly quieter time. And so what went through my mind was like, actually looking back at when we were busier, like we had probably 6 or 7 client projects, like marketing projects that were just on the go. So my brain was constantly on. Has this person spoken to that person? Has this person done that? Is it going to get approved? Is it going to go through? Is all of this? And I almost missed that, So I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. That's kind of a roundabout way of doing it. But that made me look at my current situation rather than confirming by looking elsewhere that this is a good place to be.
That's a really interesting thing, because logically it seems healthier to look at what is going on with you or what you're doing, rather than comparing to a suboptimal situation elsewhere, right? Like,
or a different company.
Oh, at least I'm slightly better than the worst case scenario or something like that. That doesn't seem healthy in the long term. But I think this is an ongoing thing for me, certainly, is like, it's also as we develop, like, why are we doing anything? Why do we take risk in the first place? Like, if there's no need, why don't we just take the safe option at every road? But there's something about coming out the other end after probably failing multiple times, but you will come out in the end. You will end up on top no matter what. And if you haven't ended up on top, you've not finished that period, that stint, in my opinion.
I don't know if I agree 100% with that. I think you will never regret trying. Because was it you that I was discussing with? There's never been when we were talking about the gym. No one's ever regretted going to the gym. Yeah. And I think we followed on with that of like, I've never regretted asking a girl out. Right? You could be rejected. You could, or you could get a yes. Yeah. But ultimately, you never really regret asking them out.
No. But what I was trying to get from that, and you're spot on, is when I'm saying you always end up on top is you're asking the girl out because you want to date a girl, right?
Yeah.
And you may get rejected by that one girl, but the act of trying is getting you to a place where, if that's what you want,
right?
Don't know when it will be. It could be a year, it could be 10 years, could be a whole lifetime, and you meet someone at the end. But you're making your way towards that rather than taking no action, which is not going to get you anywhere. Right, yeah. So even if it's that 1% there, which you're on about. So I love that, and I think we need it. Otherwise, we will have like issues with ourselves. We will find problems that have existential crisis and so on, because we don't have a purpose otherwise. Yeah. What is our purpose? Yeah.
That's a great question. Like, surely it's not to do this. Like, there's nothing wrong with this, but like in terms of actually having a purpose, you know, it's not to do this to the grave. It's other things. It's a combination, maybe. It's a combination of a healthy balance between all the things. But the thing I wanted to say, though, is this has been a genuinely long-lasting concern of mine of when AI replaces everybody's jobs and we go to universal basic income or whatever happens, whatever the next step is, I think something for certain is we're going to be doing less. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're going to be doing more impactful work.
You reckon?
So, yeah.
Is there enough impactful work to go around?
I don't know about go around.
Okay.
That's where an individual has to focus on, step up on what they do.
Yeah, okay.
Those that are doing certain jobs where it's, I mean, I'm not dissing any jobs as such, but there are obvious roles that will be replaced.
Yeah.
It's about upskilling or changing your skills, and people say, oh, you can't just do that so easily. I mean, we've got some time. Like, AI is not going to replace anyone tomorrow, but it will.
It will, yeah.
So just making that aware. Where I was going to go with that, though, is in terms of impactful work, something I've actually been working on myself is, and I'm trying to find a balance between the two, but it came from a board meeting we had, and I was kind of, I think called out's a harder word, but we had conversations about how, I was brutally attacked from all areas about how I need to potentially delegate more, kind of hand tasks around, and that's not offloading stuff and sit back and relax. It's like, no, just focus on what you can really make the best impact on. Yeah, you're not very good at everything, Ash. Like learn to live with it. But you are potentially good at certain things. Focusing on them and hone your skills on them. Right. That's how the business is really going to grow and impact. So I've really been trying to do that. I've been pushing tasks to other people or trying to offload them quicker. It's not about the volume of work I do anymore. It's about when I do something, I want it to make the biggest impact that I possibly can. Really stretch things forward and then bam, offloaded. And that's more mentally exhausting for this individual task, but you're actually doing less work. Sure. You're actually like, it's not like you're sat at your desk for 10 hours at a time, but when you are there, boom, how can I do as much more? And I think for me, it's really helping. I feel like I'm finishing tasks and I'm like, yeah, this has actually changed the game. Yeah. So
you're finding satisfaction in other routes, because what I was going to say is sometimes busy work can be quite satisfying. It's a trap, right?
Yeah.
I do sometimes feel that like days will go by where I just feel like I'm chasing people or I'm checking on things. That doesn't feel productive. But the people I'm checking on are, let's say it's 5 people.
Yeah.
Those 5 people will do 10 times more each.
Yeah.
You know, and collectively they'll bring back all of this work and I'll be checking through that. That's way more productive, but it doesn't feel as productive as reporting. Yeah. Right? Not too long ago. Oh my God, it was over a year ago. Over a year ago, I used to do the reports for clients on a monthly basis. It was well over a year ago. Yeah. Back then I used to do the reports and I would remember it would be a week. It was just for each client, I would sit there, spreadsheet, loads of different sources, pile together the information, make notes about things I was going to present to the client as well. Yeah. I would do all of that. And at the end of that week, it was like, I've done so much. Yeah. Now, there's a whole team, like not just for reporting, but like I'm fed information from loads of different sources. One team prepares one report, the other person's working on advertising, all of that stuff. Don't get me wrong, what we do now is far more effective, but I don't feel like I've done as much as I did back then.
Right.
There's a difference there.
There is, and that's where your measurement of like feeling
needs to change.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I used to do many menial tasks. I still do, to be honest, now and then. We all get in that habit of like, okay, I just need to do this, but didn't really need to do it. Yeah. I could have given that. Mine's just like, am I solving a complex enough problem? And that's not to think, I'm so like, I can handle the complex problems, but it's like pushing ahead. Yeah. And there's been probably about 2 or 3 things since Monday. So we're on Thursday at the moment by the time of the recording. On Monday that I felt like, have genuinely tested my mind and like figured it out. And that's what I'm now measuring things on. Like, okay, this actually pushed the needle rather than just like the same needle, just me kind of keeping it where it is. Yeah. So I'm trying to do that. And I think I don't know where I am with it, but certainly something I would like to do is if I get it right or I get this better, is start to instill that culture on the rest of our team. In some way, shape, or form. Like certainly to management, like solve the complex problems. Like that's what you're here for. You guys, we've got an incredibly smart team from all over. I said this to you when we were having coffee the other day. Like it's really good. Now they should be solving more complex problems because this stuff is getting tougher and tougher. It's not a basic road anymore.
No, agreed.
And that's where AI won't be able to replace that as easily.
Oh, I see. I see.
So bring that back.
Yeah. That's put my mind at ease. Because I immediately thought the work sector will start to consume a lot less of our life. Because as you said, it was funny. It was a justification you gave about like, you were talking about, billionaires as an example. They're successful in their respective field. I started to think of other examples of people who could be successful outside of work. And it does take bigger gambles, bigger risks, and bigger efforts to make a relationship work or to make fatherhood or motherhood work or like whatever it takes. Usually it takes more of an effort. So I was just wondering if when AI takes more of a role, if hopefully the utopia is that it boosts people's effort in relationships. I mean, outside of romantic as well, like human connection. Maybe people will find a lack of purpose in one area would mean that they would need to invest more in a purpose elsewhere.
Yeah, it's very true. I can see a world where we are working 25 hours a week.
Yeah.
Which still sounds like a lot to some people, I guess, but the idea is, that's quite a considerable reduction compared to what most people are working today. Sure. But the idea is we get to invest time in craft, hobbies, arts, things that culturally keep us balanced. So we're still getting that productivity. AI will continue to push productivity forward, investing our time, but actually building a more well-rounded thing. And I think a few people have made a prediction that we would be there 2023. By now we should have been there where we're all working 25 hours a week.
Right.
But I think there have been some other issues which I don't want to get into too much, but it definitely comes from the monetary side of how our money works and everything, that things are costing more, so we have to work more.
Yeah.
But technology is driving the cost down, but we have to work more because to afford things. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I'm looking at people who are verging on retirement who are most likely going to have to come out of retirement.
Right. Yeah.
And that's scary, and that's really saddening because these people have worked incredibly hard, but the system's failed them, or what they were told about. Yeah.
Yeah. I was having this conversation with Harvey when one of the collections was happening. I just happened to be on the warehouse floor when it was happening. I was just like, this is the sweetest guy. I don't think he works there anymore, but yeah, we both just kind of looked at him and we just went, man, the society failed you. He was such a nice guy, but like, and we don't know, maybe he works for fun, maybe it wasn't for financial gain, but he was quite a frail dude in his, I would argue maybe his 70s.
Yep.
It was just a case of like, why aren't you in a beach sipping margarita?
Right, yeah. That's it. If there's a time, it's that time, right?
Yeah.
And look, the bigger picture is you want to help everyone, right? You've got to be, how will AI impact everyone? But I think ultimately you have to be a bit selfish and make sure you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because you will one day, you have dependents and so on. It's like, how can I AI proof myself for the future? Yeah. And it's not just AI, it's everything. Like, how can I set myself up in a way where I get that balanced life, and I hopefully I'm not in a position where that happens. Yeah.
So I want to make this is the Feel Good series, right?
Uh-huh.
It's where we reflect on decisions we've made. It's where we reflect on observations we've made. This was a fantastic one that you brought to the table. And we've got probably about 10, 15 minutes left of the podcast.
Yeah.
My sister gave me this idea, and maybe we should do it for a full episode one time. But we should bring in pictures. I think you had the same idea, actually. Bring in pictures of your childhood.
Oh, yeah.
You need to look at it and you need to like say what you could say to them, to young Ash. And I'd do the same for young Sam. But
so, all right, I've got a picture of young Sam here.
Have you? Why have you got pictures of young Sam?
I haven't. I was just going to show you a blank screen.
Oh.
But we'll put...
We'll actually get some... We'll do this properly. But what I want to make is a bit of a recurring segment.
Okay.
knowing everything that we discussed today
Yeah.
about not regretting taking risks, about, going harder, faster, stronger, what would you tell young Ash?
Whilst we go about whilst we go on about obviously taking a bigger risk, going for it, really pushing that needle forward.
Yeah.
The thing I constantly go back to, I do this in everything. I'll do this in the gym when we're working out. I'll do this on a day-to-day basis. Whatever task I'm doing it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, how can I space my energy to keep going? Because you can easily go to both extremes. You can not really care about life and just carry on, or you can really go too fast and fall over. And I've done that plenty of times, burnt out, whatever.
Sure.
So it's just like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do it. And I'll tell young Ash, do that, but also pace yourself. Like, you got a long way to go. It's a long period. Like, take your time, learn your craft, do what you can. You fail, don't worry, but don't try and run before you can walk. Or that kind of classic.
Yeah. What about on the risk side of things? Do you feel like you've taken enough risk to get to this point?
I could always take more.
No.
But I am happier with the micro decisions I've made that have got us here, where I could have, I have taken the easy road at times. I'm not going to say I've taken the risky route every time, but there have been some risks I'm really proud of, I guess.
Sure.
And not just risks I've taken, others that have, to get here to where we are. So yeah, I think do what you do, but if in doubt, take the risk, take the gamble. Yeah. How about you?
I would say to my younger self, take the risk for the right reasons. I look back now at 27 whole years, soon to be 28. I look back at all this time and I think, yeah, you took plenty of risk, right? My family took plenty of risk too, but off the back of that, standing on their shoulders, I took plenty of risks.
I think that's a really nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Risking things with my studies, moving to different cities, multiple times, quitting stable jobs to move to other places, gambling on a creative job. I've taken plenty of risks, but when I look back, sometimes I didn't take the risks for the right reasons. I think I took a risk to go for the top, for prestige rather than for fulfillment.
Yeah.
I always think that about, like, when I was studying. I always said to myself and other people, I want to be a film director. Back when I was studying media. But actually, when I look back, the part of the process that I enjoy most is post-production. I like editing. It's just not as glamorous.
Right.
But I loved video editing. I love color correction, color grading, and all of that part. So I think back to stuff like that, and I was like, I tried to talk about this in the episode with Ollie, but I didn't have the thoughts right. It was too fragmented. So I took risks for the wrong reasons. I think if I would have thought to myself, take a risk on this because it'll fulfill you, I might have made it further in a creative field. Yeah. Same thing with, my passions in motorsport. Thankfully, I didn't ruin anything. I can easily jump back into that now. But I'm jumping back into that now, not going, I'm going to gamble everything to make it to the top. No, I'm getting back into go-karting because that fulfills me, with the hopes of getting back into single-seater racing. Yeah. I took plenty of risk, but I didn't always do it for the right reason. So that's what I would say to my young self. Take the same amount of risk.
That is really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I think the biggest thing you've said there, though, without saying it, is it's never too late to take the right risk.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that's what you need to say to your younger self. Like, I definitely have taken the easy road on quite a few occasions, Sure. The more glamorous route. Oh yeah, people would love it if I could say that, or
what a statement. People would love it if I.
Yeah. Right. Said it to myself plenty of times and denied it plenty of times. Yeah. And that's fine. Yeah. As long as you do eventually figure out that isn't the right way to go, you got plenty of time. And at the wise old age of 27, I remember when I was your age. I would say you're so young.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it, because
pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon it's all going to change. Everything will change.
Literally in a couple of weeks, you and me are going to be the same age for like damn near a year.
Yeah, but look.
But your time is running out.
I am secretly very jealous that you are younger than me.
Really?
Secretly somewhere. I'll put it shove it somewhere in there. It's just like, he's got a few more months on me. But then again, I did hear that aging is a privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get into
that.
that.
I am more privileged than you.
Yeah, damn right.
And you will never have that on me. So this is again me feeling better about myself. Yeah. But no, it's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I also just want to point out.
Yeah.
I've been speaking in this very mellow tone, and I just realized why. Because I'm feeling quite energetic today.
Yeah.
When we were upstairs and we both were in the same meeting room.
Yeah.
We were both wearing headphones. And And I had to speak very softly so that you don't hear my voice as well through actual reality and also through
thank
Zoom.
you for I didn't care about it the other way around, so you probably heard me.
That's fine because I had big noise cancelling over ear.
That's my issue. Maybe I just need to invest in something like that.
Yeah, because I can still hear you, but like faint.
Yeah.
But in order to get out of that, I was speaking super faint, and I think I've just carried that energy throughout the rest of the evening.
That was nice.
Afternoon.
What if you get a lot of compliments for that?
If I do, then I have to change my whole demeanor.
It kind of sounds like you're a bit high as well.
Does it?
Yeah, but
he's on to me.
Yeah. But no, cracking episode.
Yep.
Cracking stuff.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
A lot covered.
Yeah.
But if you do have any comments or questions on what we've discussed, please don't hesitate to raise it.
What risks do you regret not taking? Let us know.
That's nice. Yeah, that'll be really.
Have you got one just off the top? If not, we'll move on. But
I've got them. I haven't refined it enough to say it on the podcast.
I'll cut that out.
No, you don't need to cut that out, do
Okay, cool.
But yeah, a cracking episode, Sam.
Yes.
Thank you. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Please do, wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts or music. Please do remember. And tell us what you want to hear next time on the episode. It really means the world to us. Whether it's me, whether it's Harvey, whether it's Sam, tell us what you want to hear more on. But until next time.
Take it easy.
See ya.